Well, hello, hello, hello. Welcome to my world. Today is Thursday's Heart and Soul Day. And my name is Colleen Liz Frost. And today we just need to have one day a week for Heart and Soul Day. And today it is time to just say dance. So let me turn my new whatever these are called. It's a thing for your ear. And I'm so excited to have one of these back. I had them a while ago, but I have not put them in for quite a while. So it's just something I want to talk to you about tonight. I will be sharing with you the rare people, places, and voices. And today we are in Studio P, and I have to stand because it's about dancing. Okay, so where are we? This is where you will find passion, purpose, and possibilities. Today it is the Bee Gees kind of day. They are the ones who wrote the songs and wrote the words, but not the music, which is so interesting to me. Dad and I spent the day sitting, and he's 93, and I'm spending the whole week recovering from my daycation to Staples, Minnesota. And the whole day brought me back to the love I have for dancing, and dancing even when we have pain or when life is not always politically correct or life is just hard, harsh, or that is the days that you need heart and soul. So I always try to work one of those days in. And today it's a day to just say dance. And I always remember that on Thursdays. I am your coach, Colleen. I was raised on the 7 days of balance and living life on purpose. If you are traveling this internet, it is time to just hopefully rest here for a while and make these 7 days your traveler's rest. I'm your coach, your head coach, and I'm on a mission, celebrating history and creating more. This is going to be something good, I promise. You know, if you are ever given a cancer diagnosis like I was 19 years ago, I was given a chance of living 10% for 1 year, and then only if I would survive their boosted standard treatment, something about the wrong cell. If I survived that, I was to later learn, because of this no hope, that I would be eligible for a study of only 3,000 women that were allowed to get this study. Well, I wrote a book about this famous study and the multiple surgeries and unending next and next cancer drugs that I went on for the next 17 years. But like those of us that are in the battle in life and any types of illness, and then our parents, or what we tend, to have people that are responsible for, and even just have a passion for wanting to not die. That is what I call wanting to live on purpose. I tend, in that case, to not want to waste time. I want to look back, but not too long. I want to make a daily list, but not too long of a list. I like to make plans, but not too many. Most importantly, I want to seek balance. Luckily for me, I was raised this way. So when life got in the way of my plans, I just adjusted and made sure that my mission, while in this unending remission, met my purpose. And my purpose is to celebrate history and create more. My mission statement that has guided me these last 20 years, since I left my marriage and moved with my 1-year-old son to my parents then, and my twin brother found us an extreme home shortly after in Staples, Minnesota. It's a 1907 all-original opera house. We set up an apartment there and pretended that that was where we were living, but we did have to drift back here to work on this cancer. And in between treatments and radiation, we pretended to work while playing tour guide and watching my brother and his wife do most of the hard stuff. I took on a mission to get our home placed on that National Register of Historic Places, a mission that almost killed me. The story is in the book. Passion, it was worth every mistake I made. And I'm so glad that I had the Bee Gees dancing in my head, staying alive, and how I waited until just the right age to play Cisco and Ebert with my son to the movie Saturday Night Fever. It's a horrible storyline, but so many important lessons about everything is in that movie. People think it was just about dancing, which of course I love disco, which reminds me, let's bring the disco. You remember, where's Ann Rutten when you need her? It was step, ball, chain, step, ball, chain. We have to bring that back. And I am the last weekend of June starting a dance club. Okay, did I get lost in disco? Gosh. But what I wanted my son to know, and I wanted him to understand, is that there is so much pain in this world, in the big world, not just what he would eventually learn about what happened to me and us. But I wanted him to someday know that the world and the personalities that are in this world, he will have to understand and work next to, and choices he will have to make on who he is and who he is not. So of course I waited for this movie to show him until he was 12. Not that I recommend that, but again, I was on a different planet than most people. But we did take disco lessons at 8, and he was great. We watched it at 12, and then we watched it again at 17. And he gave even a better review and discussion. And there is no one that I would rather watch a movie with than my son. I mean, he broke it down. We debated, and we had it. We have a way of watching movies. I mean, grab your kid and get them to digest these movies. Kids are fascinating, the way they see plot lines and what the lessons that they learn when they watch movies. When we go to the Marvel movies, we have a pre-launch to where we left off for about a week prior to the new movie. Then we go to the movie. Then it takes us about a day to rehash it, to start with our Cisco and Ebert, and it goes on for about 3 days. So I tell you what, there is no one. And don't even get me started on the Star Wars saga, all of them, or The Notebook. I will cry. So will he. Where was I? Okay, dancing. Today I went into the Verizon store in Perm, which is where I live, Perm, Minnesota. And, I always say that if Perm does not have what you need, you do not need it. We have an amazing community of business owners, and today at Verizon, it was no exception. Wesley was there, and the other young person was there, I'll just call her Dutch. She had a dog, Wesley has a cat, and her dog the name is Dutch. And it has a merle coat. Well, I'm in the P studio, so we do talk about animals. Anyway, I was telling them my story about how the last year since my mother has passed, who helped me write this book, I only dance in the sauna. I cry there too. And, but I bring my phone in there, and my screen has cracked a couple years ago, and I would like to look at my options. So I told them about this. I can only wear one at a time. And as a mother with my son, I did not wear the headsets. So this is all new to me to have a headset. So I just wear one so I can hear Dad. And my son, when he wore the headsets, he could have one on and one off. And then as he got older, he did lock in. Of course, I did not care for that. Well, anyway, I had the best day with those two women. And they said, well, we'll just run down the road to Wadena and we'll get you that. We can get it today. I'm like, really? So an hour and a half later, she delivered these things. So tonight, the first whatever YouTube channel I did, it was, of course, the Bee Gees. And I have been walking around my house And I have been just staying alive, staying alive. I even made Dad watch This Is Your Life with the Bee Gees. He loved it. Wesley, Dutch, you are my people. So I was beside myself. And again, this is Perm, Minnesota. Every experience I have gone in this town, this is what happens. They become like your people instantly. So today I'm deciding to put music back in my ear. It's Thursday, heart and soul. And these two people at Verizon have touched my soul. I have brought music back into my day, not just in the sauna, because everyone should dance in the shower. It's important. Okay. You know, I just put it in one ear like I did when Mother was here. I usually bring my phone like in the sauna, but I don't want to dance anymore just alone. I want to dance like when Terry's here or Dee, and I'm ready to start dancing while I clean and in my day. Today's Thursday, heart and soul. I could have danced to the front porch to give Dad his coffee, danced all the way to the coffee pot. And Pete would be proud of me. Now, he's my Tuesday personal trainer, and I have been sitting here all week without him. So I need to let him know that I'm upping my game and I'm going to be dancing now. Anyway, I'm starting to fill up my days again with something dancing in my head. I'm ready. I even ordered the Vogue magazine today. Well, because it's my favorite magazine and I've never ordered it since, a long time. I love fashion, and Mother's house is filled with magazines. And I just decided I'm going to start my own magazine now. I love fashion, hair, makeup, wigs of all kinds. And it's important and I don't think it has much news, which is kind of fun for me because I haven't watched news now for years. My son keeps me posted and up to date, lightly, not too much. I remember when I first moved home, 23 years of age, that I'm 57 now. Anyway, I used to watch the news years ago. Nancy Reagan started a campaign and wanted the kids back then to just say no to drugs. Well, my passion then was the kids. My passion now are the kids. And I'm telling you, I am making these videos for you, but I'm also making them for my grandkids. I want them to know me, and I will be here. You can bank on it. But I also want to record myself for my grandkids. And back then, I listened to Nancy Reagan, but I said, you know what? I bet you the kids aren't going to buy into that. I'm going to have the kids say, just say dance. They want to have an alternative besides no. So I did. I started a business called Just Say Dance. And I took that DJ business. I was one of the first DJs in our area. And I went from school to school. I hired the kids to sell my tickets. And I gave them each a commission for their clubs. And then I had pizza ovens. So when the kids came to the dance, they worked for me as a commission. And they all got to make money. I even hired a retired policeman or woman. There was very few women back then, to man the door, remembering the Staying Alive movie, because I wanted them to be safe. And I wanted them to have comfort in knowing that there was not going to be anything like Saturday Night Fever. And you know what? No one got hurt that I know of. And it was just a great time. And I still see kids to this day. I ran into one years ago, and he had a meltdown telling me his stories about those dances and the marathons. We had dance marathons. They danced for hours to raise money for fundraisers. And I loved it. So I know many people who remember that movie, and they remember the disco soundtrack. And they forget how dark that movie was and how vile the topics were and how just today it's just so politically probably not correct. I remember everything about that movie. I soaked it up deeply. I wrote about it in my daily journals for months. Of course, I've kept these in my storage sheds. I wrote about him in Mrs. Dorholt's class. She taught me to be a writer. Actually, I'm dedicating my whole book to her because she's just my person that's been dancing in my head all my adult life. But most importantly, I did remember to just say dance. And those Bee Gees. And the Bee Gees are writers. And that is what I called my first business at 23 in response to Mrs. Reagan. I became a DJ. And at 23, I held those dances and I paid those kids. And I can honestly say that they were and are my heart and soul. We need to be a beacon of light for our kids during these days when COVID is lifted and they are trying to find their way. I have learned how to sit still from my parents who have taught me to just sit when the world is shaking or when the world is spinning. Well, I'm not spinning anymore. And Tony, not Dogman, but Tony from Saturday Night Fever, has me back to dancing. I dance this way and that way, or this way and that way. And those two at Verizon who helped me with her Dodge car that she took that way and back this way, I just can't thank them enough. She brought me the headset, and now I can dance from that front porch to the coffee pot. Which brings me back to Studio P that I'm standing up in today. P is for purpose, passion, and possibilities. What movies inspire you? Where do you dance or disco or not? When life throws you a 1 year to live sentence, I say, just say dance. Thank you for subscribing to my work. I am in development. There is so much more to come. In the meantime, 7 Days Living Life on Purpose is here, live, with me, your coach. Has been a blessing, and I am doing it on purpose. And Heart and Soul Studio P on Thursdays. This is where I will be. So find your rocks, grab your ball, and build a team. Look for a feather. Hope is all around. So jump, bounce, and fly with me. 7 days on purpose. I teach it, preach it, and repeat it with a balance. Like, share, and remember that Thursdays are for those who dare. Be avant-garde, be rare, and remember me. Sincerely, Colleen, your coach, number 33.